Capricorn, here we go. This is your story. I've been sitting here with the cards, the messages, the energies to figure out what it is trying to say. I hope I'm in focus. And this is super interesting. So here's what I'm getting. Which one? All right. Oh, I see. This is, sorry, I was trying to decide which one to hold. And this one is it. So here we go. Super interesting. So it feels like you're at the very end of some type of journey, some type of lesson, some type of karmic energy. And it's showing me two different paths here. And I'm just gonna pick two, of course, the two extremes, because I could talk about this all day. So here, so we start here with the fault line for the archetypes. And so it very much feels like you've been in a very slow progression towards something. And it's almost been feeling like you've been stuck, but you haven't been stuck. It feels like you've been stuck, but you have actually been walking very slowly, because it seems here like you're afraid of repeating the same mistake again. And it doesn't feel like you've done this twice. It feels like this has been happening 4 or 5 times, and you're tired. And you slow down at some point because you want to see how to get out of it. The first card that came out for the shaman oracles were the ancient ones. And so it very much feels like you're aware of this. You know, this has been a feeling of stuckness with you for a little bit, and you're tired and you want to get out of it. And it's almost like this card is telling me, yeah, it's one of those generational karmic cycles that you're trying to break and be over it and learn and know why this happened or is happening. And you're at the very end of that journey, and it wants to take you out of this. It's like you've been caught in this naive cycle. It's almost like perhaps you were too generous to a fault, and you couldn't see who the players were in your life. And it wants to take you out of this very innocent, very almost naive, curious to a fault place. Nothing wrong with being curious, but it's almost like this cycle, how you were curious or you were generous to a fault, and it wants to get you out of that and bring you into the next part. And the next part would be the pilgrim. So it's almost like you're getting out of one energy, but it's almost like you're still taking that energy with you. It's like it was your shadow side, and now the light side of that part of you wants to come into a journey. It's almost like, don't get rid, like the lesson isn't for it to be repeated. It is going to repeat itself, but instead of it getting repeated into a more of a negative cycle, more of a naive cycle, it will get repeated in a way that you will be generous to the right amount. It's almost like you're learning to balance. You will be generous with your time, with your money, with your love, with your attention, whatever it is that you've been almost naive about to a fault. You will still be that beautiful person. That beautiful part of you will be used, but now in a balanced way where you're not overgiving or you're not falling into these patterns of victimization or damsel in distress or whatever it is. And this could be this. I don't do boy, girl, man, woman. These are all energies, masculine, feminine aspects of us. All of us fall into these same energies at one point in our lives. So it wants to take you to the pilgrim journey. But it feels like you've known this about yourself. There's been something calling you. There's been something that's been wanting to come from you or out of you, or it's almost like your life calling. You've known it for a while, and you've tried it multiple times or multiple ways, and it never developed more than a certain stage. and you're tired and you want to get out of that. And this is the journey. This is finally the journey that wants to get you out, to get to the next stage of what you're calling or what your goal has been. The first card here for the animal spirit deck is the cow spirit. Miracles are endless. So it came out right on top of the fault line. I keep wanting to call it the faultine. I don't know why. Cow spirit, the fault line. It's almost like part of you thinks you need a miracle to get out of this cycle. God, I felt that way before. It's like, you've seen it, something is calling you, and you've searched, and you feel like you've tried everything, and you're at your wit's end, and you feel like something, please, somebody push me, something. You're really just reaching out for you're at your wit's end is what it feels like. The eagle spirit came out next. Spirit has your back. And these together are very, very powerful. Miracles are endless and spirit has your back. It's almost like saying, the universe is saying, spirit is saying, yeah, we heard you. We understand what kind of miracle you're talking about. And we have your back. Like, we're going to give it to you. So your message has been heard. So far, that's what we got. Your message has been heard. What the next card is see the big picture, the giraffe spirit. Forgive my English if I mispronounce something. And it came out right above the pilgrim, and it's almost like your very last step to get out of repeating this cycle almost in a negative pattern, is that you need to see a little bit more information, a little bit more. There's a little bit more of this that you still are missing, that you haven't really seen the full picture of. And that's why you feel this stuckness. It's like you're very carefully threading forward because you don't want to fall again. And so this is what I was talking about. So this is what you've always known. There's a part of you that's so beautiful and that is so innocent and pure. And that's the beauty in you that you're going to take with you. That's the light side of that energy, that pure, innocent energy in you that you're not really meant to discard or not outgrow, but you're supposed to learn how to balance the other side of overgiving is what this feels like. And that's the beautiful part of you that's supposed to come on this journey and to help you materialize whatever it is that you've been wanting to do. If you can hear any noises, those are my cats playing around. It's still the part of you that's going to materialize whatever your goal, your dreams, your aspirations, your projects are. It's still but this time around, it's almost like the overgiving has made you stuck because you've been. It's almost like you've been living it for other people instead of yourself. And these cards over here, this beautiful side of you is great, but now you have to live it for yourself. Now you have to follow your own heart and again, stop overgiving of yourself. Continue on your path to your own beat. Don't let other people slow down your drums. I'm going to use whatever term comes out. Don't let other people slow down your music. Just keep on your own beat. Keep threading forward is the message here. The next one here for the animal spirit deck is the frog spirit. Clear out the clutter. And I feel like this is a traditional message in this time around. Oh, this card is so cool. This is also a message of transformation. There's a shadow here. Okay. The traditional is maybe your mind needs to be cleared, your house, the dust, some compartments a room in your house, something needs to be cleaned up, because energetically it does open up a lot of clarity. And this is a card of transformation, so it's almost like that little tidbit that you're missing. This would help you. For some of you, literally cleaning up or meditating, so you open up a little bit more space in your mind instead of all that chatter, is that last tidbit that you need to focus on and concentrate and dedicate yourself to turn this knowledge into wisdom and keep going on your path. The Stag Spirit came out next, take the lead, and it really is just telling me, look at how the green blends at the bottom over here. It's really saying to me, take the lead, as in you dedicate yourself. Just focus on yourself right now. If there are a lot of people in your life, or you found yourself on your path and doing what you love, and then somebody comes along and it slows you down or it takes you off track, this time around, just know that you're the leader. This time around, don't let them slow you down. If they're not hopping on your train, keep going. Do not slow your train down. Do not slow again. Do not slow your train down. Do not slow your song down for anybody. Keep going at your own beat, at your own pace. Now, like I said, ouch, what is this? Like I said, I got a weird itch all of a sudden on my shin. Oh, I just said that. So the Wolf Spirit here come out next, turn knowledge into wisdom, and I said that, and I looked at this, and it's almost like this next, yeah, take it, whatever you've been trying to do it one more time. But this time that you go on this journey, you've got all the knowledge. It's almost like you have all the information you need now. You know this. And you know this because you've been stuck and you've been feeling like you can't take another step towards falling between the cracks. You cannot. That's why you've been taking it slow and you've been slowing it down and been feeling stuck, is because you cannot risk one more time falling through the cracks. And so now you're on this journey of turn that knowledge into a notice. Go back and think what's that one thing or those few things that once you get to a certain stage have stopped you, have put a halt, or maybe it's been somebody. There's always somebody that comes along and you're like, oh yes, let's partner together and we'll both get there because we have the same destination. And all of a sudden you figure out that this person is actually taking you off your track. You think you've got the same goal, but this person maybe they're easily distracted with other things and you keep on your track, but instead of keeping on your track and the person just moving away and falling off your train, you're like, no, wait, and then you try to pull them back because you agreed, and perhaps you're a loyal person. This could also be this loyalty. And instead of, you know what, fine, get off the train. And keeping on your wagon, you just try to pull them back or be like, hey, remember we made this deal or whatever. And instead you fall off your wagon with them, and then you find yourself stuck again. And that could a pattern like that could very much be what's keeping you stuck, what's keeping you on these lower levels of feeling stuck, of continuing on the same patterns over and over again, without that feeling of ultimate success, you know? But if you really look, yeah, here, look at that, the Wolf Spirit and the lower world. If you really look into all your experiences, you've got all the knowledge to get out of this. You've absolutely got all the knowledge you need to get out of this, and getting out of this is going to be the wisdom. When you look at all those patterns, it's going to change these patterns into your next stage. And so the part with the many paths that I see is, it's almost ironic because that's the words on the cards, but I didn't, it's not conscious, I didn't say it consciously. I did not say it consciously, the many paths. I see so many paths. Many paths and arrow here are the last cards from the Shaman Oracle. Oh, I just saw 333. If you guys have been seeing that, maybe that resonates with you. If you can hear that, it's my cat. If you guys have been seeing 333, that might resonate with you on some level. I just saw that. So here's what I meant. Many paths. This, the castle card, is very much very strong light and shadow sides of that energy. And it actually falls really nicely with the maiden here. So the maiden would be that damsel in distress, that victim mentality card, that innocent, that naive person who wants to be rescued. And but now, if that was your pattern, the pattern of, oh, I'm gonna team up with somebody, oh, somebody's gonna come along and discover me or see this in me and give me the chance. Now you're actually, so that mentality is being separated by the journey, but it's almost like you've always known this was your destiny, your goal to get to your castle. But so far, you've been stuck in that mentality. It's almost like every time you go on this pilgrim journey, you end up back here. And that's been making you feel stuck in slow motion in life. So that's why I said I can see you falling back into that same pattern, because you haven't really been able to see it. But for those of you who see that pattern in you, who can see, he wants to play. They fetch. My cats fetch. I'll show you. They fetch. They love these toys. And I just toss them, and he goes and he gets it and he brings it back, and he just wants to fetch. But I can't play. So many paths here. You can repeat that cycle again. You definitely can. And fall back into that same one. That's one possibility. You can actually achieve this. You can finally get out of that rut and achieve this. But the problem is, in this card, you have a huge polarity here, which is you can get to a place where you will still feel stuck, because the castle is also a card of feeling stuck and within four walls. Or it could also symbolize your freedom, your final goal, achieving your fairy tale ending. And so this is where the last card here for the animal spirit comes into play, the hawk. Let spirit be your guide. Is if you listen to it, if you really do your work of seeking within yourself what these patterns are, and making sure that once they come across your path again, you make a different choice. That's spirit guiding you. Spirit's going to help you, guide you to the light side of this energy, to your castle, to your fairy tale ending, to your goal, to achieving everything you want. Instead of, then you'll get to your castle and you'll realize that you're just stuck in a different place. So for example, if this is just an example, if you're the kind of person who has, every time you've been on this journey of achieving a goal, somebody's like a lover has come across your path and they slowed you down. Or even if you have the same goal, the same ideas, the same destination per se, they've actually slowed you down in some way. Maybe they've shown you negative patterns about yourself, or a shadow side of yourself. And instead of looking at your shadow side, you just went along with it. You gave your ego more attention and more energy, instead of, which got you stuck in the same pattern, instead of achieving that fairy tale. And it's really hard to see this, and I can see it now. It would be really hard to see, because either way, it's looked like your partnerships have had the same goal in mind, the same destination. So for you, it's like, oh, it's a win-win no matter what, but it's come out as a lose-lose so far, or a lose-win, and you've always been the one losing. So that's why here, right above Hawk Spirit, right below Hawk Spirit, the arrow is is the last card too. And this is, once you see it, once you see your pattern, once you understand what's been slowing you down, what's been making you fall off your song, your drumming beat, well, your wagon, your train, once you see that, make sure that just like an arrow, you go straight to the point and you don't let them slow you down. And that would be the advice from Spirit. Let Spirit guide you. Find that pattern. Find that problem that's been keeping you in that same cycle and stuck. And once you find it, once you see it, do not let anybody slow you down. Do not let anybody get you off your track. If you feel like you need somebody else to help you, wrong. This is telling you, nope, this has been your pattern. You lose yourself in people. You lose yourself in wanting to go it alone. And that could be another conditioning from your childhood, is thinking you need somebody to save you or to go along with you in the journey or to come find you. And that could actually be, activating some abandonment issues in you. And that's why you latch on to the person, because you feel like, oh, they're here to help me. We have the same goal. It's going to be fine. And really, they're actually coming into your path to make you realize that you can do it alone. You just haven't believed in yourself enough. So that's all I have for you. I hope it helped. And Capricorn, I will see you next time.